Orange Chakra Mastery. 1. Love yourself to keep the orange chakra flowing. The orange chakra governs the individual expression of love, acceptance, and ethical power. Before this energy can move outward toward others, a conscious player must learn to treat themselves with respect, compassion, and forgiveness. Self-judgment constricts the chakra, and self-hostility blocks its brilliance. When we choose to see our own goodness alongside our imperfections, the energy body relaxes and the orange ray begins to bloom into power. 2. Release old voices that keep you small. Many orange chakra distortions come from internalized childhood scolding that continues to echo into adulthood. These old voices insist that our efforts are not good enough and freeze us in outdated emotional reactions. By hearing our own pain with compassion and consciously choosing to stop listening to those toxic echoes, we free ourselves from the past and allow the orange ray to function in the present moment with dignity and self-trust. 3. Form a real friendship with yourself. We spend more time with ourselves than with anyone else, yet many people do not actually enjoy their own company. The conscious player learns to cultivate an inner atmosphere of kindness and acceptance, which stabilizes the orange ray and strengthens the flow of love and light. This inner companionship becomes the foundation for genuine compassion toward others and is essential for keeping the energy body open and balanced. 4. Build a habit of noticing your blessings. Attention is creative, and whatever we attend to grows. When we keep our focus on blessings rather than frustrations, our inner world changes shape. Positivity becomes a habit, the emotional climate becomes peaceful, and orange ray energy moves freely toward the heart. This shift in focus lightens the spirit, broadens perspective, and allows the larger flow of the Creator's love, light, to move unimpeded. 5. Make peace with your physical body. The orange chakra constricts around issues of appearance, self-consciousness, and cultural pressure to conform to idealized beauty. When we dislike our bodies or obsess over weight, aging, or physical flaws, we dim the orange ray and lose vital energy. The conscious player learns to accept their body as it is and to resist societal demands that distort self-worth. This acceptance restores confidence and the natural flow of life force. Remember that the people who are most enjoyable to be around are those who are simply themselves, unself-conscious and present. Adopt this same ease by releasing the social anxiety that arises from comparison or self-evaluation. When we relax our concern with external judgment, the energy body softens and the orange ray becomes steady and vibrant. 6. Relish your life as a practice. Orange ray is the vibratory pattern of movement, growth, and the instinctive reaching toward the light. Just as animals savor their environment and plants stretch toward the sun, the conscious player nurtures joy by consciously relishing everyday life. This practice is not naive positivity, but an intentional focus on the good, which keeps the orange ray clear even when challenges arise. Enjoyment becomes a discipline of alignment rather than a reaction to circumstances. 7. Recognize the beauty of each person. Orange ray is activated not by abstract love for humanity, but through the way we relate to individual people one at a time. When we see each person as a unique flower whose beauty is to be witnessed rather than trimmed or reshaped, we honor their soul-level worth and allow our own energy center to remain clear. This attitude of accepting others exactly as they are restores harmony in relationships and keeps the belly chakra flowing with vital energy. Remember that some people resonate easily with us and others do not, yet at the soul level, all are equally valuable. When we invoke this remembrance of oneness, especially with those whose vibrations differ from ours, we unblock the orange ray and allow the Creator's love to move freely through our relational field. 8. Stop manipulating others and release learned social control. Our culture teaches us to manipulate one another through polite smiles, white lies, and performative behavior. These habits may ease interactions, but provide no inner understanding of true personal power. In the higher game of life, manipulation and judgment constrict the orange ray. By choosing transparency and authenticity, we bypass superficial control and align with the deeper worth of every soul, even those whose actions appear harmful. 9. Protect your energy body without closing your heart. When interacting with people whose energy feels abrasive or difficult, we can use simple techniques to preserve our own energy body while remaining loving. Brushing the hands over the head and shoulders cleanses the aura, and clasping hands or closing the circuits of feet creates an energetic shield. This establishes a safe inner boundary without separating from the other in spirit, which keeps the orange ray unconstricted and the heart open. 10. Use love to transform irritation into connection. All close relationships eventually involve quirks that irritate us, and these micro-irritations constrict the orange ray. A conscious player learns to invoke love deliberately by choosing to respond with love when annoyance arises, a practice that shifts emotion and changes inner chemistry. Love softens perception and lets us see the fears and sensitivities that shape another's behavior, which dissolves irritation and turns friction into understanding, allowing the energy body to expand rather than contract. 11. Treat every emotional knot as spiritual training. Irritation, offense, and interpersonal distortions are not trivial. When emotional tangles arise, they narrow or block the orange ray and prevent us from offering positive service. Through patience, humor, and the willingness to learn, we can smooth these knots and regain access to the steady flow of love and light. Every relationship becomes spiritual practice, shaping our ability to respond with compassion rather than reactivity. 12. Let service become your first impulse in relationship. When we approach relationships from the standpoint of what we can give rather than what we can get, personal tensions ease and disharmony dissolves. Service to others aligns us with positive polarity, reflecting Kennedy's principle that giving brings more value than receiving. Helping another is helping ourselves because love circulates back 100-fold. The more we orient towards service, the more fluidly the orange ray supports our spiritual evolution. 13. Distractions weaken the orange chakra. Modern devices and passive entertainment weaken the orange ray by reducing genuine relational activity and lowering inner activation. Television, games, and constant electronic stimulation pull attention away from honest interaction with ourselves and others. While not inherently negative, these distractions must be used consciously so they do not drain opportunities for growth, intimacy, and polarization. The conscious player remembers to choose relating over numbing, presence over escape, and quality conversation over background noise. 14. Honor relationships as essential catalysts for elevation. Relationships contain some of the richest catalysts for elevation. They require honesty, vulnerability, and the courage to share painful truths that foster mutual growth. Avoidance through distraction strips these interactions of depth and weakens our opportunity to polarize. By cherishing relationships and showing up fully within them, we keep the orange chakra open, strengthen personal power, and accelerate our movement toward heart-centered living. 15. Let your orange chakra reconnect you with nature's rhythms. The orange ray body is the primal physical form shaped in the womb, the body that existed before self-awareness and carries instinct, animal memory, and the deep harmony of nature. Remembering this keeps the orange ray clear because it shows our physicality is part of the natural world, not separate from it. When we move, breathe, or play outdoors, when we run, swim, cycle, garden, or dance, the body recalls the unity of all things and the rhythms of the earth. These activities soften rigid mental patterns and help the energy body realign. Indigenous cultures reflect this truth through their intimacy with the land, their animal totems, and their understanding of the interconnection between humans, animals, and plants. Engaging these traditions or finding our own totem animals grounds us in belonging. The body remembers oneness even when the mind forgets, so letting the orange ray form commune with nature becomes a powerful way to restore balance. 16. Work with totems to root yourself. Totems help bridge the gap between our modern intellect and our instinctive inheritance. By noticing the animals that appear in dreams, fascinate us, cross our path, or trigger irrational fear, we uncover symbolic guides that mirror our energy. Exploring these totems through books or native traditions reveals qualities and lessons that speak to our life journey. This practice grounds us in the orange ray environment by reminding us that the body is part of a larger natural web rather than an isolated object. Totem work restores the forgotten conversation between the human and the living earth. When we honor this instinctive bond, the energy body settles and the orange ray clears because we remember that we belong to the land rather than possess it. 17. Recognize repeating emotional themes as chosen lessons. Before incarnation, each soul chooses the structure of its lifetime. We write the screenplay, assign the cast, and select the experiences that will challenge, refine, and awaken us, including the parents, lovers, teachers, adversaries, and even the hardships that will break our hearts or test our spirit. From outside incarnation, the density feels like a playful proving ground, so there is no victimizer or cosmic punishment, only responsibility for the curriculum we designed. The challenges that return again and again are not failures, but lessons we program to surface until they are understood. When painful patterns arise, we can ask why we chose this catalyst and what it is teaching us, which removes the fear of recurrence. Instead of feeling cursed, we recognize ourselves as players moving through a coherent learning process. Even in suffering, when we can say, "This is a quiz in the curriculum I chose," the orange ray relaxes and opens to growth rather than tightening around the story of unfairness. 18. Step back when hurt and seek clarity before reacting. Because our perceptions are often distorted by emotion, pain, or fatigue, it is easy to misread others and tighten the orange ray unnecessarily. A small misunderstanding can feel like rejection or attack when our energy body is narrowed. A wise player pauses when hurt and asks the other person to repeat what they said, and most of the time, the perceived insult dissolves instantly. Even physical discomfort can skew how we interpret others and how they interpret us. This practice of pausing, clarifying, and staying open prevents unnecessary contraction, preserves the flow of personal power and intimacy, and keeps the orange ray clear even in moments of emotional strain. 19. Honor yourself and others through compassion. Everyone alternates between days when they feel centered, connected and open, and days when they feel lost, tense or emotionally fragile. Seeing this fluctuation in ourselves helps us respond to others with gentleness rather than judgment. We are all the good son when we feel at home in our spirit, and all the prodigal son when we feel estranged from our inner source. These states shift like weather. When we encounter a loved one in the role of the prodigal, compassion becomes the correct response. And when we find ourselves in that role, self-compassion becomes essential. Treating these inner movements as natural allows the orange ray to loosen rather than clamp down. Compassion keeps relationships fluid and prevents the emotional rigidity that blocks energy flow. 20. End each day by examining and clearing emotional residue. Orange ray work is ongoing because relationships, including the one we have with ourselves, generate constant catalysts. A daily review of our thoughts, feelings, and interpersonal moments allows us to see where energy contracted, where misunderstanding crept in, or where old wounds were triggered. Meeting these distortions with kindness and honest reflection begins the clearing process. We move inward, acknowledge the hurt or confusion, and allow love to soften the hardened places. This simple daily ritual prevents accumulation, which is what blocks orange ray most deeply. By tending to the emotional residue of each day, we maintain an open channel for personal power, intimacy and joy to flow upward toward the heart.